right, our guest is on. So let's officially start. So I want to welcome you to another episode of Mentorship Mondays with me, Shakira Mills. And I'm so excited to be back here where we're going to be engaging in informational conversations about career journeys. And with me, I have the great Nicholas Renford. He says, my vision as a creative entrepreneur is to preserve and promote brand Jamaica through the arts. Whether I'm on a stage performing or in a classroom teaching future artists and musicians of Jamaica, I believe that through the arts, we can make a positive change in our country and at large the world. Nicholas Renford is a multidisciplinary creative entrepreneur with a passion for bringing ideas to life. With expertise in music education, photography, cinematography, Nicholas has built a reputation for delivering innovative and impactful solutions to clients across a range of industries. After completing a bachelor's degree in music education at the Edna Manley College of Visual and Performing Arts, Mr. Renford honored his skills working as a music teacher for several schools where he developed a deep understanding of the creative process and the importance of collaboration. Nicholas has been operating his business, Tweak Studios. I said that right? You said I tried to curve the nickname, because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. We're focusing on helping clients achieve their goals through creative storytelling and so much more. He is a mentor in Minds of Jamaica, and we are happy to have Nicholas here with us. Now, before we start, Nicholas, tell me what you want me to call you, because I know I call you Nicholas and you're cringe over there.
It's fine. I have so many names. Nicholas is fine. Tweet is fine. Any one of them.
All right. So
I'm
we're gonna go
to the classroom, so it's not a sir business or a Mr. Renford. Yeah.
No problem. I will not. I won't put you in teacher mode. So I'll ask this question first. Nicholas, was this always the dream? Was this always your passion? Was being a creative entrepreneur what you grew up wanting to do?
I think there are two answers to that. I started with drawing. I loved to draw. As I said, loved because I haven't drawn in years. But I started that from in primary school. And that developed into or evolved into the love for music. So I started doing music in high school. Along with the music, I realized that I was always trying to get into a little bit of acting. So it wasn't anything professional or anything like that at that age. However, I liked to be in plays and stuff like that. In a little thing that allowed me to explore that talent. So with all of that happening, I realized that I wasn't one of those children that was able to focus well. Because there were so many different things pulling me all over the place, so many different interests that I had. And I started to develop each of them, one after the other. So I didn't put on the drawing, but I took up the music. I took up a little acting. And it was after high school that I went into photography, which it wasn't the plan because music at the time was what I wanted to do. That's what I decided I wanted to do. But then based on financial constraints, I was not able to start a music program at the time. And a very, very close friend of mine introduced me to two wonderful persons that started my photography journey and my graphics journey.
All right. Perfect. So we were talking about your journey and if this was always the path. And, you started out by telling us that you love music first. Well, no, lie, lie. I'm a good listener. You love to draw first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started dabbling in music, and started to love music. You wanted to pursue a career in music, but you didn't sign up for the music program as yet due to constraints, and then you got introduced to photography.
Yeah.
I think that is where we were.
Yeah. So after being introduced to photography and graphic design, I got to realize that, okay, maybe I can do all of these things. I didn't necessarily need to settle. At that time, I didn't think I needed to just settle with one of those things. However, I needed to have something that was a main career path that I wanted to choose, and that was music.
Mm-hmm.
So, fast forward to my college days, I was in music. I did my degree in bachelor in music education, and it was a it was a funny story when at the graduation, persons were wondering why I was over by the music side, because I was always just exploring the different other areas of the arts. I was over by the art school. I was doing photography. I was
Mm-hmm.
over by drama school. I was involved in plays over there. Rest in peace, Trevor Nairn, one of the greatest, in the industry. I was everywhere. So it was then and there that I realized that, okay, this is where multiple streams of income would come in. I could be a teacher, but then at the same time I could be a photographer on the side. I could do all these things that we would consider as hobbies, but then it can really develop into something else. And that was when I started to look into the whole profession of being a creative entrepreneur, realizing that it was actually a thing, having a portfolio career, which is what it is, where you have different things that you do within that creative space, gifts and talents that you have that you use to make money, So yeah, I believe it was just finding that, navigating that path until I got to where I'm at right now.
All right. Okay. All right. So for me, the way how you spoke about the journey, it kind of sounded like it was smooth sailing. And I know, being somebody that dabbled in the creative industry, I won't tell you when, but I don't need anymore. But I did dabble, and I know that Jamaica had a hard transition to see the creative industry as a business. I know we're there now, and there's lots of work to be done, but there was this period, and I think probably 5 years ago, tell me if I'm wrong or so, where there was much work being done in the creative industry to see it as a business, as a viable career option. Yes, we were doing it, and we saw persons who were creatives, but we wanted to take it to a different level. Jamaica, what was that journey like for you, seeing that transition, and was that always your mindset from the get-go that yes, I am good at these things, but did you consider it as a business? Were you always looking at it from the business standpoint?
Well, to answer your question, it is still in that transitional stage where the creative industry is being, recognized for what it's being done,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how much appreciation it's given, encouraging persons to explore that as a career field, especially as young creatives, being a musician for me, being in the photography business. A lot of these things, you're only really seeing the results sometime once somebody decides to push through, because there are a lot of challenges that you'll face. One of which was, I was mainly being paid through exposure. Like I
Yeah,
I
let them
have
know
a
what that's.
whole
You see,
bunch
you're
of
talking too
exposure.
pretty, Nicholas. Remember the kids watching paid by exposure. I mean, him not getting any money, real money.
Hold on, no. So yeah, because when I say pay by exposure, I was getting there because I have a whole bank account full of exposure, meaning that the whole bank account has nothing in there. That's nothing in the sense of financial payment, but then the experience, and all of that is what really kind of led me to believe that, all right, if I need to do this and I need to continue doing this, then I would have to try to find my way out of that, add more value to what I'm doing. I remember that in every stage of this development, there was one particular moment that stopped me from continuing in a certain way. Especially, and this story, well, I haven't really told it often, but I used to play a lot of nine nights.
Tell us, the man. Share the tea here
I used to play. I used to play at a whole lot of nine nights. That was one of the things that, as a musician, growing up in Clarendon, you get called at a concert, gone on nine nights on the weekend, you're gone on nine nights sometime. So I remember the last time I played at a nine nights, I was to go to church the following morning and finished playing about 3 o'clock in the morning and got some sleep until 6. And long story short, we ended up playing until around 6:30 the evening because we played for the funeral. There was a procession. I did not plan for that. I planned to go home from the morning to go to church. And then at the end of the day, the evening now, we go home and supposed to collect. And say, boy, so we don't really get nothing yet still. And when I got the payment, and I was like, all right, this is where it ends for me. This is where it ends for me. I need to move. I need to get into what I really want to do. And that was when I decided to pursue Edna College, because from that evening, the Saturday evening until the Sunday evening, and I walked away with $2,500. And when I got home, and my parents were like, was it worth it? I couldn't even answer. I had to laugh because at the time it was just like, how did I get myself here?
Because you must have been burnt out. You're playing all of the night. You get 3 hours of sleep. You go back to the church and you're playing right to the evening, and then when you're done, they give you 2,500.
It wasn't even at the church. It was on the way to the church. They set up the instruments in the truck. We play to the church, play at the church, sunshine, rainfall, everything happened, and then it wasn't compensated for. So yeah, a lot of that happened throughout my journey. I haven't really spoke about it much, apart from those who would have known, but it has been rough, and that would have been on the music side, on the photography side, or anything else that I would have done. It was mainly internal, where I would always think as if I wasn't good enough to pursue this based on the quality I was seeing, being out in the same industry as I am, especially in Jamaica, because there are a lot of creatives here and everyone has their different style. But for me, I was just always trying to find something different. And then because of that, it led me to think that it wasn't good enough. So that was another thing that kind of pushed me into different areas, trying to find something that would kind of give me that kind of fulfillment and satisfaction.
I want to talk about the drive to continue. I saw somebody tell us in the chat where you're working, you're not seeing the reward or the financial meetup, and you still had the drive to say, okay, I know that this is my passion. I know that being a creative is my passion. How do I then streamline it so that I don't get too burnt out and I can still pay my bill? What was that push to allow you to continue to keep your passion? Because I saw somebody in the chat just say, well, that's why I stopped dancing, because hey, all of this exposure, no payments. So what was that push for you?
It was a little bit of me convincing myself that I can do this, based on where I was coming from, as well as motivation from friends and family. That was an advantage and a disadvantage for me, in that it was an advantage where you had the motivation, you felt like you were doing something wholesome, you can actually do this and you can get better at it because there are persons who appreciate it. But there was also a disadvantage because I was somewhat feeling pressure to always maintain a certain level, a certain standard based on what I would do. Um, so the pressure was always there to, not necessarily produce quantity, but quality. And because of that, doing so many different things, it was always kind of difficult to, just complete stuff. I would write songs and have a million and one songs incomplete. I would have concepts for this and concepts for that. So the drive was always just to make something good of what I'm doing. And then I went into the classroom, and it was a joy to see the inspiration that I brought in the classroom. Students who wanted to pursue this didn't have the confidence and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the main contributor to me continuing, because I started going into the classroom from about 2015 while I was in college. So I was able to see how students would react to someone that is doing something that is not necessarily traditional. And that motivated me to want to be in the classroom or want to be around young minds that would want to pursue this and keep strong in it and see that it's not necessarily a smooth path,
Yeah.
but no one persons don't always know where you're coming from or how you have to push through. They always see like the end results or see that you're doing this and it's all bright and dandy, but then the battles you really fight and face are those when you're alone, when you're about to sleep and you start thinking about all the things that you want to do, all the dreams that you have. How persons may discourage you from doing this because you can't do this, or they see you, or they create this version of you that you don't necessarily have of yourself. So there's that conflict. But then the push through for me was mainly my students and persons who would have seen what I do and see the value in it.
Okay. Okay. So you started talking about the classroom, so I'm just gonna go right there. It was further down, but I want to go into that. You said you started teaching in 2015. What was that experience like for you, and how old were you, if you don't mind? If you don't mind telling, when you went into the
Okay.
classroom, because I know we're all young professionals, so I want to have that idea. You went into classroom. What were your expectations, and what was it like? Because I know teaching is no bed of roses.
All right. Um, at that point in my life, I wasn't even thinking of doing that. I got a call so I was studying at the Edamale College, and it was actually a summer program where they had different students in different areas, so music, dance, arts, and all of that. So I was called to be the music teacher for that program. And at that point, I didn't even do teaching practice or anything as yet. So what I was bringing to them was pretty much what I would have learned from, even before coming to going to college, and then what I would have gathered from being in college. It was a great experience for me because it allowed me to find a different side of me that I would definitely need if I was to pursue this as a career. Without any experience, it's always a challenge for persons without experience to get certain jobs that they would like. And I got that opportunity. I was 25 at the time, so I wasn't a teenager or anything, but it was definitely an experience for me. I was able to compose and arrange and assist with the other areas that they had, the dance, drama, putting everything together. And then even seeing some of those same students that I would have taught back then, leaving college and doing other stuff. So yeah, it really kind of motivated me to continue with this, because it doesn't matter, or it didn't matter at the time that some of them were 19-year-olds back to like 12-year-olds. But yeah, I enjoyed the experience. It was great for me.
Right. So fast forward to now, you are still in the classroom, right?
Yeah, I'm still in the classroom.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what's your everyday routine then like? Because I know, yes, you do teach music education, but of course you do a lot of other, as you would have said, you have a portfolio career. So you do a lot of other career fields that fall under the creative umbrella. What then is
Yeah.
an everyday, for you, like wake up in the morning and do you encompass all of these in one day, or how do you break it up?
Okay, so I started I started at Homo Technical, that's in Manchester, where that was my high school. That's high school I went to. Also went to Knox College, but I went to Homewood right after. And
Homewood. All the
that
Homewood
was
peeps gonna get excited when they see this video.
I'm big up the Knox people them too, because that was my foundation. But yeah, I started there in 2017 part time, and the reason I even went there was because as a student there it wasn't a subject for me. Music wasn't there. I didn't learn music formally there. I just went there and met other friends that were into music, and then it went to full time. After being there for a few months, I decided to apply for the full-time position. So I was able to get that there, and other stuff. Um, but then I realized that being a full-time teacher was not really facilitating the other stuff that I wanted to do.
Okay.
Living in Kingston just the same and traveling to Manchester just to teach, and it wasn't like I was financially stable to be able to do that. Yeah, it was very stressful, and didn't really pay off financially. But as I said before, it wasn't necessarily just for that. It was, just to build something there. So I decided to leave part-time and to full-time and to teach part-time, where that allowed me the flexibility of doing other stuff that I wanted to do. I remember as I said earlier, there are moments that I remember that would be like that transitional stage for me into something else. And one of the things were when I was at Homewood, I received a call to be a part of an ad campaign, and I would have to get to Kingston by like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, and I wanted to do it. I didn't feel as if waking up at that time was any pressure for me, because once you commit, you have a passion for something. It doesn't matter what time of day or whatever. So that for me was saying, all right, if I'm to do this on a regular, then it would make no sense for me to be so far and doing all of that when I'm not making $1 million a month to be able to, facilitate that. So I went part-time, and then that allowed, as I said, the flexibility to pursue other stuff. So my daily routine on let's say, I don't have school every day.
Right.
I would be working on other client projects. So I'll be doing some editing, whether it be for photography or doing some editing for some music videos. I was also tasked with the audiovisual for the Jamaica Best School Band competition for this season, season 10, and I've been working on that. So my days would have been filled with editing mainly. When I'm not doing that, I'm trying to work on personal projects, because that's one of the things too. When you're a creative, you sometimes get lost creating other person's projects and ideas that you don't get the time to express what you would want to express, or how you'd want to express yourself in the same field. So I try to balance that, and it's a bit difficult because one thing, being a creative entrepreneur, you are in charge of your own time. So time management is very important, organizational skills, the discipline, and knowing how to, just balance everything that you have to do. It's very difficult, but that's how I try to balance everything, not everything in one day unless there are deadlines, but yeah, it's achievable.
Okay, all right. I love how you said that if you really want something, or if you really love something, if you're really passionate about something, it doesn't feel like working, and you will wake up at any hours of the morning to go and get it done. And so that is true passion behind your career, and I love that for you. And I love that for you because I said, boy, 5 o'clock in the morning from Manchester to Kingston, but you have done it, and so that is completely amazing. I want to talk to you about imposter syndrome. You dabbled on it a little bit, and you also dabbled on, discouragement of other persons, and that kind of tie hand in hand. Imposter syndrome, where you are saying, "Am I good enough to pursue this?" And then there's the outside noise saying, you know, other persons probably may be saying, are you good enough to pursue it? How do you tackle that on a day-to-day basis?
One of the things that makes it difficult as well for persons who would face this is the fact that we're exposed to so many different things, and information is just out there. The internet, the digital world, you can literally look up someone who is doing what you're doing, and that itself can sway you into thinking, you know, how do I get there? It seems so easy to do this and all of that, and yeah, but for me, it is still not, I still have not figured it out. Reason being, there are so many different things that would have convinced me that I want to do this, but then not being able to do it is one of the things that say to me, that tells me that, all right, maybe I should just drop this. Maybe I should just not do this. Maybe it's not so, you know, lucrative. Maybe, you know, I'm not able to do this. I'm just forcing it, you know. But one of the things that really pushes me on a day-to-day basis is the fact that sometimes I will look back at my work and I will try my best to appreciate it. So I would not be able to see I have not seen my best work as it. But then looking back and seeing where I'm coming from, and then the fact that I am always grateful for opportunities, grateful for you know, inspirations, grateful for all of these things. So it's mainly a belief in the creator to say that, all right, I have been able to do certain things that persons would dream of doing, places that persons would have dreamt of going, but you know, it's just on a screen, you know, and that would be the motivation for me to continue doing it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily think that I'm there yet or I am doing it how it should be done, but you know, just figuring it out as I go along.
I love the humility that you just came with, because you know you have done great things, but there is this constant reminder that you feed yourself that it's about continuous improvement, and that is so important, especially in our generation, because we can get caught up with thinking that we have done our best work, but there's always something more to do. And I think that you shared such a powerful gem just a while ago, Nicholas, that it's always about continuous improvement. You haven't seen your best work as yet. So other person's probably looking in and say, oh, that bad enough. But you know, because you are consistently critiquing your work, that there is more to be done. And that is why you're going to go even further than you are right now. That's just complete. That's a gem right there for everyone in the chat. Never think that you reach. You know, we love to think that we reach now. There is always something more. That journey of continuous improvement. And I love that you spoke about that just a while ago.
All right. To add to that, one of the things that we tend to not really do sometimes, especially as creatives, is to celebrate wins. In that we would do something great or persons would consider it great, but then it's just one of those things that we do because we're able to do it, and you know, it's in the moment. It's a creative burst of, you know, excitement, but then we move on to the next. So celebrating wins, it's very important. I'm trying to teach myself that as well, but I would definitely encourage it based on how I've seen it motivate persons to even do better work, you know, and to even inspire others to say that, all right, I can do this and I can be proud of it.
I love that one that you add on to. I hope we're taking these gems that Nicholas sharing. You know, we need to celebrate our wins as well. And he's working on that, and I want everybody to work on that, because it's so true, Nicholas. Sometimes we get so caught up with working and achieving and ticking off and, you know, going to the next thing, that we don't stop to just celebrate the wins. And I think that you're just sharing powerful gems now. You're just sharing powerful gems. So thanks for that. So always on continuous improvement and celebrate your wins. I love that.
All right.
It's kind of like you feed into my next question, but I know you have more to say. So if there is somebody that's currently in high school or currently in university, a young boy or girl that wants to take on a creative career, what are some words of inspiration that you would leave with them?
Okay, so based on where we're at now in 2023, I think COVID would have opened a lot of the eyes of creatives and persons who want to pursue something else rather than something traditional. And it's because we're so exposed to, as I said, information, and it's a digital age. It is so easy nowadays to create content and for persons to see what you can do. And it has nothing to do with just being a stand-up comedian or just playing music and persons can hear what you can do. But in any area that you feel as if you're gifted in and you want to promote, the avenues are there that you can explore. Putting yourself out there, allowing persons to see what you can do regardless of your age. If I may make reference to like some students that I met while I was doing the competition, the JBSB band competition. There's so many different talents right across the country, and I was able to meet some of them, and best believe that we have a great future in terms of the creative industry, in terms of music, and even photography, because I met a guitarist the other day and she's into photography as well, and we had a small talk. She's still in high school, and I just had to encourage her to create stuff, post your photos. 5 years down the line, you're gonna want to take them down because they look like you didn't do
Yeah, we
yeah, but you'll be able to see where you were and where you are now. It's not necessarily even about the gear, because as I said, 2023, cameras, phones out there with very great qualities. So you don't need a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera or anything like that. You have a phone, can do videos, short videos, reels. All of these things are tools that we can use to promote what we do. And also, once you can find someone who is in the same field, someone who can mentor you, it's a great program that the Minds of Jamaica has to, kind of channel you or help you to discover what you want to do. So there's really no excuse apart from you allowing yourself to do what you want to do.
You get me excited now. You get me excited. I'm excited because I think anybody that's going to be watching this particular interview, and it don't really matter if they're going into the creative field or not, will take what you just said. Create your content. We're living in a world with everything is there. Listen, there's social media that I am young and I don't even understand it, right? TikTok and Instagram, and you can just post it out there and traction on your stats to, you achieve that. And if nobody not seeing what you're creating, then how you gonna get those opportunities. So I love that you said to put your content out there. Your content out there. And this part I write it down first, but I have to say it in order as you say it. Put yourself out there regardless of your age. Listen, somebody needs to go quote. Nicholas Renford said that. Put yourself out there regardless of your age. A lot of times we are thinking we're too old or we're too young to start something that we are passionate about. But you heard it here from Nicholas first. Go and put yourself out there regardless of your age. You can do it. You can achieve so much if you just step out. And get a mentor. You have to big up Minds of Jamaica. I love how you put it. Get a mentor. There's so many platforms available, but the best one is Minds of Jamaica. And it's right at your fingertip for you to get exposed to somebody else that is on a journey that you want to go on. And get to talk about whatever you want to do and learn from them. So I think those nuggets are totally amazing. Any last words, Nicholas, before we wrap up?
Well, I didn't really think about in the last words, really. Well, thanks for having me on the program. As a fellow mind as well, I would just want to encourage, persons who would want to be in that creative space or become a creative entrepreneur, or if it's even just to do something that you consider as a hobby. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want to make money from, but you can pursue it, because there are benefits outside of the financial benefits that you can get from being a musician, from being an artist, from being a somebody who creates, because it helps with the mind in various ways. So yeah, just do something creative. Find some way to channel that passion that you may not be able to explore through your daily work routine. And I even must say that while I was teaching, I lost my passion for music. I wasn't able to express myself based on the resources that were offered, based on the mindset of students who, as in our culture, the music is not necessarily one of those things that we would consider a subject per se. It was just like a pastime activity. So I lost my passion for music, especially not being in the creative space. I was in Manchester. Not that I couldn't find persons to work with there, but yeah. So I had to channel my passion into something else, and that's when I really took up videography. And I'm now back in music. I still have both of them going at the same time. So I tried not to allow the loss of passion to change my vision, change my end goal, and just work at it until I got back on track. So yeah, just encourage persons to take that approach just the same with anything. It doesn't have to do with anything creative, but just not get knocked down and just stay down.
Yeah. Don't get knocked down and just stay down. Listen, I hope I'm taking quotes from this, I hope I'm taking quotes from this. Don't get knocked down and just stay down. Remember what your passion is, and even if you lose the vibe for it, you can get back on track. Listen, Nicholas, no man, it come like if I have a little motivation to actually, because right now I am feeling pumped. Anything I put down last year, I'm going to revisit my notes and see if I can strategize and get it back up. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for coming on to Mentorship Mondays. It was a pleasure having you, and you dropped major gems. When this hits YouTube, let me tell you, it is going to be hot. So
well, we do it for the love still. So all if it's not hot, the place hot already. So if it's cold, you don't mind,
You want to cool it down.
Yeah, cool down the place, man.
Listen, we forgot to start to look at AC when the video drop on YouTube, and it now go cool it down. So I want everybody to look out for that, and of course you can rewatch this live when it's posted, and keep tuned. We are here every second Monday of the month doing this, having informational conversations about career journeys, just to get you more exposed to different careers and the real life journey of it, because sometimes we hear about it and we think it's nice and pretty, or we think it's easy, or we think it's straightforward, but these conversations allow us to know the ins and outs of these different careers. So see you back again in June, and keep looking at the Instagram page for more updates. Thanks again, Nicholas. And I see friends in the chat saying great things, Nicholas. Really some
yeah,
good
big up
points.
everybody in the chat. I wasn't able to read because I never want the phone overheat again, so I just kind of freeze it.
Great interview, lots of great things in the chat. So big up yourself every time. All right.
Yeah, man.